What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. This is going to be the Sanctified Warrior build. Now, we are going to wrap this entire build around one weapon, and that is the reason that I even made this build in the first place. It's going to be the Ornamental Straight Sword, because this thing is a beast. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, the Sanctified Warrior build is going to be a quality dexterity build. We are using the Ornamental Straight Sword as our main weapon, and the armor that we're rocking looks incredibly amazing, and the talismans we have coming are going to complement this build very, very well. I'm going to go through all of that with you, including a few summons in the Flask at the end of the video. I will also have stat breakdowns for 50, 100, and 150, so you can level this build up as you go and play it at meta level if you so choose. All of the video you're going to be seeing here is captured in New Game Plus 6. I am 291, so with that being said, here we go. The Ornamental Straight Sword is a fantastic weapon, and the reason being is because of its Ash of War, Golden Tempering. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to dual wield this weapon with the second one that's on your waist, and also buff it with 100 holy damage. And not only that, it's also going to give you an incredibly fast attacking moveset that's going to proc every single one of our talismans almost, and just about destroy anything we come up against with ease. And with the new buffs that Straight Swords just got in patch 1.09, this is only going to encourage us to use this weapon. This weapon is going to scale with strength, but mostly dexterity, with a strength scaling of D and a dexterity scaling of B. It also is going to have a physical damage of 247 plus 304, so definitely a good weapon, especially for as fast as it is attacking. Its attributes that are going to be required to wield it are going to be 10 strength and 14 dexterity. Now, as mentioned before, with the moveset, there's a few different moves you can use with this weapon. The first moveset is just the normal straight sword horizontal slash pattern, and the heavy attack is a piercing thrust forward. But where this weapon really shines is its Ash of War Golden Tempering. It's going to allow you to pull off some really awesome combos, and they're all going to hit incredibly hard. With as fast as this combo can attack, and then with the giant attack it does at the end of the combo, you're going to kill most things in one, maybe two hits, and then bosses are going to go down very, very fast for you. Although this weapon does have 100 holy damage with Golden Tempering, there is no faith scaling on this weapon, so you are not going to need any faith unless you want to use the two buffs that I'm going to be using, which is Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Moving on to the seal for this build, the seal that I would recommend is either the Finger Seal or the Claw Mark Seal. Any other seal is not really going to do what you want it to do, and there's no faith with this build, so you're not going to have anything scaling with faith, so it does not matter overall. As far as the armor goes, once again, I think I've accomplished getting the armor set to look absolutely phenomenal. We're going to be rocking the Twinned Helm, we're going to be using the Mausoleum Knight armor, the gauntlets, and we're going to be using the Bull Goat Greaves. All of this is going to give you a combined poise of 64, which is really good for PvP, and it's also great for PvE, not getting us knocked out of our attacks and letting us get a little bit more damage on us without being staggered as easily. Now, I am going to be doing something a little bit different in this video, so let me know if you guys like it down in the comments, but I'm going to tell you how to get every single one of these pieces of gear as I'm going through it, so you can then go back into the game and check it out for yourself and attain this build piece for piece. So for our armor, the Twinned Helm is going to be received from Fia's questline in Roundtable Hold. I'm going to link a video to that in the description, and right here in the top right, you're going to see an icon pop up. If you want to click on that, do her questline, and get the armor set from that, you are more than welcome to do so. Then I also have a YouTube short for the Mausoleum chest piece. That is an armor piece that's very easy to farm, and it's not incredibly rare, so if you need that, I'll have that link down below as well, and also up in the top right corner, there will be a YouTube short link for that. The gauntlets can be purchased from Merchant Kale at the First Church of Ella, and if you happen to kill him, you can go ahead and purchase them from the Twin Maiden Husks. And lastly, our Bull Goat Greaves are going to be attained from completing Patch's questline. I don't have a video for that yet, but I can show you exactly where to start his questline right here on the map, which is going to be located in the Mirkwood Cave dungeon here in Limgrave. So once you complete his quest, he will give you the Bull Goat Greaves. And now for our talismans, which are really going to shine and make this build work and hit really, really hard. First off is the Rotten Wing Sword Insignia. This is going to greatly increase your attack power with successive attacks. There are 3 separate tiers to this talisman, so you're going to have a first tier of 6%, next tier of 8%, and your final tier is 13%. You will be hitting so fast, though, that you will jump immediately to 13% buff to your attack power right away with this talisman. The next talisman we're rolling with is also going to stack with Rotten Wing Sword Insignia, and that is going to be Millicent's Prosthesis. Millicent's Prosthesis is going to boost your dexterity and raise attack power with successive attacks. And that means your dexterity is going to get a +5 boost. It's also going to raise your attack power with successive attacks, the exact same as the Rotten Wing Sword Insignia does, but this has a little bit less percent. The first tier of damage on this talisman is 4%, then it moves to 6%, and then it moves to 11%. All of that is going to stack together, and once you get going, you're really going to start doing a lot of damage with this weapon. And for our talisman number 3, we're going to be rocking the Shard of Alexander. This is going to greatly boost the attack attack power of your skills. So that means that you are going to get a 15% buff to your attack power of your skills. So when we get our weapons buffed from Golden Tempering, it's going to add 15% damage to that, which is really, really nice for us. And the last talisman we're going to use, this one is situational, and you can swap this one out, but the other three do need to stay in this build to get the most damage out of it. I'm using the Claw Talisman right now because I've been using a lot of jump attacks, especially when dual wielding this weapon, and that's going to give us a 10% damage boost to our jump attacks. Now, you can switch this out for different situations that you happen to find yourself in. I have seen people use builds like this that have the Ritual Sword Talisman in here. I've also seen builds that have used the Sacred Scorpion Charm to raise your holy attack, and then I've seen other builds still that use the Spear Talisman to enhance counterattacks unique to thrusting weapons. I have seen all of those done. However, I feel like with my personal playstyle, the Claw Talisman with the plus 10% damage to jump attacks just works very well for me and for this build. And just like I did with the armor, I'm going to tell you exactly how to get each one of these talismans. The first talisman, the Rottenwing Sword Insignia, and the Millicent's Prosthesis are both going to be attained from completing Millicent's questline starting at the Church of Plague. I do have a video about that, so I will link it in the description, and I'll leave a marker in the top right here for you guys to click if you want to watch that as well. But you can't get them both at the same time. You have to do them in two separate playthroughs. The third talisman, the Shard of Alexander, is going to be attained at the end of Alexander's questline. This questline starts out in Limgrave. I'll leave you a marker right here on the map to show you exactly where Alexander is, and you can follow his questline and get it that way. And finally, the Claw Talisman is going to be located in Stormvale Castle on top of a tower right outside the Rampart Tower site of Grace. The next thing I'm going to show you in this build is the Flask of Wondrous Physic. Now, this is going to have the Thorny Crack tier and the Dexterity Not Crystal tier for two reasons. First and foremost, the Thorny Crack tier is going to stack very, very well with our talismans that are triggered by us hitting successive attacks on our enemies. The Thorny Crack tier is different in the fact that it's not a talisman, but the buffs that it gives you stacks with all the other talisman that we have. The Thorny Crack tier is going to consistently make your attacks grow stronger the more that you hit. So, just like the Rottenwing Sword Insignia and Millicent's Prosthesis, this crack tier also has different stages to it. The first damage increase is going to be 9%, then 13%, and then 20%. And guess what? That stacks with Millicent's and Rottenwinged Insignia, giving us a total of plus 44% attack power boost when we have all of these buffs active at the exact same time. The Dexterity Not Crystal tier is going to temporarily boost the Dexterity in our mixed physic by plus 10. So we're going to get plus 10 Dexterity on top of that, which is only going to help in giving us more damage in our fights against bosses. So this selection in our flasks really complements the build that we're currently going for to give us the most optimal amount of damage possible. The Thorny Crack tier is going to be found in the mountaintops of the Giants northeast of the inner consecrated snowfield site of Grace. After you defeat the Erd Tree that's there, he will drop the tier for you. And the Dexterity Not Crystal tier is going to be found directly to the east of the Folly on the Lake site of Grace in Liurnia of the Lakes. And lastly, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave my stats up here on the screen for you. I am currently level 290, so my stats are a little blown out of proportion on New Game Plus 6, but I am going to leave right now on the screen stats for 50, 100, and 150 just so you guys can break down this build and use it to level up and use it at New Game Plus 1. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. It has been so fun making videos for you guys. We are about to get into some Tears of the Kingdom content here, so be sure to stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you can know when I'm making new content. I appreciate it very, very much. And until next time, guys, stay safe, enjoy the game. I'll see you in the next one.